I worked 3 jobs just to feed my 3-year-old daughter. Every morning, I left home before the sun came up, and every night I returned long after she had fallen asleep. Some days I wondered how much longer I could keep going, but every time I looked at my little girl, I found the strength to take one more step. My name is Emily. 3 years ago, I thought I had a happy life. I was married to a man named Ryan, and together, we dreamed of raising a beautiful family. When our daughter, Lily, was born, I believed our future would only get brighter. But life changed when Ryan lost his job. Instead of facing the challenges with me, he slowly became distant. We argued more often, and one evening he admitted he no longer wanted the responsibility of being a husband and a father. A week later, he packed his bags and left. He promised he would send money and stay in touch with Lily, but after a few phone calls, he disappeared completely. From that day on, I became both a mother and a father to my little girl. The first few months were the hardest of my life. The rent was due, bills kept arriving, and I barely had enough money to buy groceries. I sold my jewelry, canceled everything that was not necessary, and used every dollar carefully. Still, it was not enough. I knew I had only one choice. I had to work harder than ever before. During the mornings, I cleaned hotel rooms. In the afternoons, I worked as a cashier at a small grocery store. At night, after putting Lily to bed at my neighbor's house, I delivered food until midnight. I slept only a few hours every night, but I never complained because every dollar I earned meant food on our table and a better future for my daughter. Lily was too young to understand why I was always tired. Every evening, she ran into my arms with the biggest smile and said, "Mommy, you're home." Those 4 simple words made every painful day worth it. I hugged her tightly and silently promised that no matter how difficult life became, I would never let her feel abandoned. I did not know it then, but the sacrifices I was making were about to change our lives in a way I never imagined. The years passed, but life never became easy. Every morning I woke up before 5 o'clock to prepare Lily for daycare before starting my first job. After finishing there, I rushed to my second job without even stopping for lunch. By the time my third shift started, my feet were sore and my body felt exhausted. Some nights, I cried quietly in my car before going home because I did not want Lily to see me breaking down. Even on the hardest days, I reminded myself why I was doing it. I wanted my daughter to have a safe home, a good education, and opportunities I never had. Lily was only 3 years old, but she had the kindest heart. Whenever she saw me looking tired, she would gently hug me and say, "Mommy, don't be sad. I love you." She often drew little pictures of the two of us holding hands with a bright sun above our heads. Those drawings became my greatest treasure. I kept every one of them because they reminded me that I was never fighting alone. One rainy evening, after finishing my last delivery, I rushed to pick Lily up from my elderly neighbor, Mrs. Wilson. As soon as I walked in, Mrs. Wilson handed me a small envelope. She smiled and said, "Lily wanted you to have this." Inside was a folded piece of paper covered with colorful crayons. It showed a little girl holding her mother's hand with the words, "My mommy is my hero." Underneath, Mrs. Wilson had written a note explaining that Lily had proudly shown the drawing to everyone at daycare and told her teacher, "My mommy works all day because she loves me." I could not stop crying. I realized my daughter did not remember the toys I could not afford or the expensive clothes she never had. She remembered my love. That same week, something unexpected happened. One of my regular food delivery customers noticed how hard I worked and asked me why I always looked so exhausted. I smiled politely and told him I was simply doing everything I could to raise my little girl. I had no idea that this simple conversation was about to become the turning point that would change our lives forever. A few days later, I was surprised to receive a phone call from that same customer. His name was Mr. Anderson. He owned a successful family business in our town. He told me he had been thinking about our conversation and wanted to meet me. At first, I thought he was calling about another delivery, but he had something completely different in mind. When we met at his office, he told me he admired my determination and honesty. He said that anyone willing to work 3 jobs to care for a child deserved a better opportunity. Then he offered me a full-time position as an office manager at his company. The salary was higher than what I earned from all 3 jobs combined. It also included health insurance, paid vacation, and regular working hours. I could hardly believe what I was hearing. Tears filled my eyes as I thanked him. For the first time in years, I felt like life was finally giving me a chance to breathe. Starting my new job changed everything. I no longer had to leave home before sunrise or return after Lily had fallen asleep. Every evening, I was there to pick her up from daycare, cook dinner with her, read bedtime stories, and tuck her into bed. The smile on her face became brighter every single day. One afternoon while we were playing in the park, someone quietly called my name. I turned around and saw Ryan standing a few feet away. He looked older and much different from the man who had walked away years ago. He admitted that life had not gone the way he expected. The relationship he had left us for had ended, and he had lost his job. Then he looked at Lily, who was happily playing on the swings, and said with tears in his eyes, "I know I don't deserve it, but I want to be part of my daughter's life again." Hearing those words brought back years of pain, but I stayed calm. I knew the next decision would not be about revenge. It would be about protecting the little girl who had been my strength through every difficult day. I looked at Ryan for a long moment before answering. I remembered every sleepless night, every unpaid bill, and every tear I had hidden from Lily. I remembered working 3 jobs while raising our daughter alone. But I also remembered the promise I had made to myself. I would never let anger control my life. I calmly told Ryan that if he truly wanted to be part of Lily's life, he would have to earn her trust with actions, not words. He agreed without making excuses. Over the next several months, he showed up every weekend. He attended Lily's preschool events, read her bedtime stories during his visits, and slowly became someone she felt comfortable around. One afternoon, after they finished building a puzzle together, Lily hugged him and quietly said, "I'm happy you came today." Ryan smiled with tears in his eyes because he knew he had been given a second chance that many people never receive. A few years later, life had completely changed. I had a stable career, a peaceful home, and most importantly, a happy daughter. Looking back, I realized karma had worked in a different way than I expected. It did not bring revenge. It brought healing, new opportunities, and a better future for Lily and me. Ryan had to live with the regret of missing the first years of his daughter's life. But he also chose to become a better father from that day forward. As for me, I finally understood that every sacrifice had been worth it. Watching Lily grow into a kind, loving, and confident young girl was the greatest reward I could ever receive. My 3 jobs did not just put food on our table, they built the future we both deserved. Lesson: a parent's love is measured by sacrifice, not comfort. Hard times never last forever, but the love you give your children